We're talking to Francoise in two capacities. First of all, as Senior Marketing Director for Total Corbion, and then also we'd like to talk to him as the current Chairman of the European Bioplastics Association. Francois, PLA, it's 0.2% of all plastic packaging, I think you said, yeah? Why bother recycling?
I think that's the current situation for PLA. We are at 0.2% today. But as I just presented and showed, we have the expectation that in the year 2025 we're going to be around 8 to 14% of all packaging in plastics recycling. And that would make it a significant amount of PLA in the plastic recycle stream, which would make it viable to economically recycle it.
Now that's a pretty ambitious uplift by any standards. I mean, seriously, how can that be done?
We know in which applications PLA has a really strong value proposition. Take for example polystyrene cups, polystyrene yogurt cups. Take for example thermoformed PET trays, which cannot be mechanically recycled. These kind of applications, they will really benefit from PLA, and therefore we expect a lot of growth in those applications.
Now, I mean, some of those applications, and I'm thinking coffee cups in particular, there's been a lot of public attention on that type of packaging this year. So you could almost say this is consumer driven in a way. But how much awareness is there to PLA amongst consumers?
I don't think we market PLA as a consumer brand. The thing that goes in the marketing to the consumers is the fact that it's bio-based, made from natural raw materials, made from renewable raw materials. That's what the consumer understands. That's also what connotates very well. And secondly, the other thing which connotates very well with consumers is the fact that it's biodegradable or compostable, which means it goes back to harmless substances, CO2, water, biomass, and that really appeals to customers.
Now this dual capability that PLA has, that it can be recycled and it can also be composted, makes it a fascinating polymer. But a lot of the focus at this conference, and indeed this year, has been on the circular economy and recycling. That's the mantra. I mean, how does composting meet the requirements of a circular economy?
I think it's impossible to say this as a general statement. You really need to look at the application level. So when you are thinking about an application which is in contact with a lot of organic product, okay, that's where you really want to have the organic compostability. That's where you have the benefits of the composting. If you, however, have a rigid tray where there's really no contamination with organic waste, in that case, it's much better to mechanically recycle and reuse the PLA again and again.
Okay. Lastly on this, wearing your Total Corbion hat, assuming it is feasible to sort PLA within the waste stream, and you've demonstrated that it can be done, will the recycling collection agencies actually be bothered to do it?
Yeah, that's a $1 million question. I think the answer is simple, because we have spoken to many of the recycle sorting companies, and in the end they're in the business of recycling plastics. I mean, they don't have a preference to recycle PLA, PP or polystyrene. They're in the business to make money, to recycle, to sort out these plastics which have value, which have resale value. And the moment PLA will be available in a significant amount of volume, and there is an economic viability to sell the sorted out PLA further downstream into other recycle applications, then they will start sorting it out and they will start selling it and they will start making a profit on the sorting out of PLA business.
Okay, well, in order to do it, obviously they're going to need the assistance of consumers to send it in their direction. How will consumers know which bin to put their PLA packaging in?
Yes, so that's the question. I mean, do you put a compostable product in the green bin and do you place the plastic product in the plastic bin? It goes without saying that if there's only plastic labels on the plastic product, it goes in the plastic bin. Therefore, it goes into the mechanical recycling stream. And we have these different logos which certify compostability. We have the OK Compost logo, we have the seedling from European Bioplastics. There's a Dinsertco logo indicating compostability. And what we need to do is we need to make the consumers aware that when there is such a logo, the product needs to be thrown in the green organic waste bin. And the Netherlands is a good example. with the Knowledge Institute for Sustainable Packaging, we actually developed a logo which clearly explains this piece of film or this tray is made from a compostable material. Please, at the end of life, throw me in the green bin for organic recycling.
And it's a very clear-cut instruction.
Yes, it's a very clear-cut instruction, just as you have instructions on glass products, throw them in the glass collection bin, paper with paper, so that's very clear instruction.
All right, that's very good. Now, we want to switch hats, talk to you as chairman of the European Bioplastics Association.
Yes.
We've done a full day here at the conference, and the thing that I've not heard mentioned once, amazingly, is Blue Planet. Now, this has been the sort of dominating factor in our lives all year, and it's created massive attention on plastic packaging in the waste stream and where it ought to be, rather than lying about in the ocean. The bioplastics sector has been noticeably quite quiet on the subject. Do you think you've missed, as an industry, an opportunity to gain traction this year at the expense of oil-based plastics?
I don't think so. I think the plastics littering, plastic in the ocean, Blue Planet, all the problems that are surfacing there, they are typically problems which are caused by traditional oil-based, fossil-based plastics. So it's the traditional plastics industry which has created many of these issues and problems together with the consumers. As bioplastics, we have some solutions for some part of the problem, but we are by no means at all the license to litter or the possibility to recycle everything much better because we are bioplastics. So we take a much more cautious and realistic approach in these areas. We do want to be present with biodegradable plastics in some applications where leakage of plastics into the environment is definitely going to happen. Like you have in agricultural products, you have mulch films, you have root containers, you have tomato plant clippings. I mean, those are applications where we want to be present and we have a big advantage of the biodegradation of the plastic. But in other products, I mean, there's not a clear advantage of having a biodegradable plastics when it comes to preventing the littering or the ending up in the environment. So we didn't cause the problem as bioplastics, and we're not the end of all solutions to this problem. So that's why we stay a little bit on the sideline of this debate.
Well, okay, and nobody could dispute that, but just to follow it down the road a little bit, it's not your problem, and you didn't cause it because you're a very small fraction of the total amount of plastics packaging out there anyway. And yes, we know that it takes a certain amount of time for a compostable plastics to degrade in the ocean, by which time it's probably caused the damage. So I take those points. I just think that what we've noticed is that it's become a very emotional subject. And I think there was an opportunity there to seize the moral high ground. That's what I meant by traction.
Yes, but going to that moral high ground will automatically force you into a position where you have to say, you will be tempted to say, yes, in the end, biodegradable plastics in the environment, it will biodegrade and cause less harm. And that immediately sparks a negative discussion, because you have these discussions saying, well, maybe the turtle has eaten the bioplastics already before it is degraded. And we want to stay clear of this. I mean, bioplastics, compostable plastics, not an excuse for littering. Littering behavior should be improved or reduced. And therefore we don't see bioplastics as a solution there, and that's why we don't present ourselves as the solution in this debate.
At the risk of sort of boring the viewers, just one more go at you though. It's not a solution. I mean, there is only one solution, and that's for people to stop littering, yes. Whatever it's made of. No, what I meant was, I think bioplastics and bio-based materials suggests a more mindful, responsible, environmentally caring and conscious mindset, which is where you sit, and that was where I thought the traction could be gained.
Well, we have traction there because you mentioned a few times the circular economy, and the circular economy starts with the building blocks, and in bioplastics we have the renewable building blocks made from basically sunlight and plants growing biomass to be made into bioplastics. So we have the starting point, which is renewable, which is definitely circular. At the end of the lifetime, we have the possibility to mechanically recycle, which is part of the circular economy. And then if that is for some specific applications better to organically recycle or compost, we have this as well as part of the circular economy. So the bioplastics, they touch on many aspects of the circular economy, of the low carbon economy, but they are not per se the answer for a reduced littering economy.
Right, lastly, before we let you go and back to more tangible, realistic ground to stand on, PLA 0.2% of all plastic packaging. Do you know what percentage bio-based materials in total are of plastic packaging?
I didn't do this calculation, but if I should estimate, I think it will be around 0.8 to 1% in total.